What is happening, baby? Welcome back to the Huddle Chat Sports Network's very own Fantasy Football Huddle, presented by Danklyfe brand, and your host, as always, Dallas Clark. Today, I'm giving you some buy low trade targets that you should be hitting up all your teammates, all your league mates for at the current moment. Right now is the perfect time to start getting trade talks going. Through 2 weeks, if players have underperformed in both weeks, people tend to panic. And people that might have not even have busted necessarily, just underperformed, people really start to get worried. Right now is the perfect time to buy low, buy the dip on all these players, and get those trade talks going and get your league moving and shaking. Without further ado, let's get things cracked off right. Make sure you hit that like button if you like the content, and hit that subscriptions bar as well as that notifications bell. Now let's fill up our cups, roll something up, and get right into the week 3 buy low trade targets. First one we're going to be talking about is going to be Garrett Wilson from the New York Jets. He's had back-to-back underwhelming performances, although against tough defenses and tough matchups. He and Rodgers have not really played much together at all, so you're looking at their chemistry being off. They're going to build chemistry as the season goes throughout the year, and you're looking at him getting a heavy involvement. He's got almost 20 targets in the first 2 weeks. You're looking at him getting only 60 yards in week 1 and 57 yards in week 2. Look, there's going to be some growing pains, not only with Aaron Rodgers, but this whole Jets offense. You're looking at most people drafting him in the first round in most leagues, and you could get him at a wide receiver 2 price right now. I'd send a Jalen Waddle right over right now for Garrett Wilson, and I wouldn't even hesitate about it. I just sent off that trade. As a matter of fact, earlier this morning. So send that trade off for Garrett Wilson. You could get a top 12 wide receiver at a top 24 wide receiver price at the current moment. Another wide receiver we're going to be talking about is going to be Chris Olave from the New Orleans Saints. He was a half yard away from a touchdown this week, which would have made 81 yards and a touchdown look a lot better than what he had this week. It just led to another underwhelming performance, the fact that he missed that touchdown. The Saints offense has shown that they can support him. They put up 47 points in week 1, albeit against the Carolina Panthers, but then 44 in week 2 in a surprising victory against a really tough Cowboys defense. Despite these explosive games, Chris Olave has underperformed. The offense will settle down and the passing volume will increase. Look at what Alvin Kamara did this week. You're looking at Derek Carr, I believe, has only thrown 39 passes in the past 2 games together. With how this offense has looked, I'm confident Chris Olave is going to play much better. It's just going to take the offense settling down and being a little more realistic over these next few weeks. But I like Chris Olave a lot, and I definitely would buy the dip on him. Before we move on to the first running back that we're talking about, I want to make sure to mention my live Sunday pregame kickoff show that we do over here on the Huddle Chat Sports Network. Starts at 9:30 Mountain Standard Time, 11:30 Eastern Time. And we talk about all the injuries, the news information that you need, everything you need to know going into your matchups, all of the best matchups, wide receivers versus cornerbacks, help you win some bets, anything that you need. I got your back live Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern or Mountain Standard Time and 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Going into the first running back that we're going to be talking about is going to be Zach Moss. He had an off week with only 5 points in PPR this week. He had a decent game in week 1. I think put up 14 points in PPR in week 1. However, this week he did have an 80% snap share and pretty much all of the valuable opportunities at like 8 of the 10 goal line snaps. He played a lot in the passing game as well. And it turns out it has not been quite the running back committee that we thought that we were going to see in Cincinnati. You're looking at Zach Moss being currently valued as like a running back 3 right now, but he should be considered an RB2 moving forward with RB1 upside with how this offense is supposed to be looking on paper. I like Zach Moss a lot, and you can definitely get Zach Moss at a cheaper price than you're going to be able to get him for the remainder of the season right now. Another Cincinnati Bengal that I'd like to mention is Jamar Chase. The Bengals always start slow. They are tragic in September, unfortunately, for Joe Burrow owners and Jamar Chase owners. And you're looking at Jamar Chase coming off a fairly shaky offseason. Jamar Chase will not be out-targeted by Iosivas and Mike Gesicki all year long. That's just not going to happen. Jamar Chase is going to get his targets. This Bengals offense is going to be good. Joe Burrow has amazing chemistry with Jamar Chase. I think he's just had a rough start due to the rocky offseason, and he's not necessarily going to be at the cheapest price that you could get some of these other players at, but you are looking at Jamar Chase being a fairly disappointing player and frustrating play right now in fantasy football. I also want to mention Tyreek Hill from the Miami Dolphins. You're looking at Tyreek Hill losing out on Tua Tagovailoa, and nobody really knows how long Tua is going to be out. You're definitely going to be able to get Jamar Chase at a cheaper price than Tyreek Hill, but Tyreek Hill is in the same position that Christian McCaffrey is in. If you picked Christian McCaffrey at the number 1 overall pick, you can't get any higher than the value that you took Christian McCaffrey at, so you're always going to be losing that trade when you look at your value on what you drafted him at. Same thing with Tyreek Hill. Most leagues he was drafted as the second or third player and has just been underwhelming in these first couple of weeks. He's actually played pretty well, but you're looking at the scary part about missing Tua Tagovailoa. Can Tyreek Hill still remain a top wide receiver? The people that are making those kind of questions are the ones that you want to target Tyreek Hill for right now. Last player we're going to be talking about as far as a buy low trade target, and this one I damn near didn't even want to put him on this list. And I want to let you know that this is a frustrating play for me, and it's just hard to. I'm just going to get it out to you guys. Michael Pittman Jr. from the Indianapolis Colts. I obviously have tons of issues with what's going on in Indianapolis right now. Anthony Richardson is not looking quite as good as he looked in those first 4 games last season. You're looking at Michael Pittman Jr. being a relatively high draft capital guy that people picked kind of early in drafts, and he's pissing people off at the current moment. Mostly the Indianapolis Colts are pissing people off in the current moment. But what's really giving me the cause to really want to take the action and go get Michael Pittman Jr. is the involvement that he's getting. He had 8 targets in week 1, 7 targets in week 2. They just have not been connecting. And very similar to the Garrett Wilson issue that we talked about earlier in the episode, I think it's really just a chemistry issue. They have not played together very much. I think this is what Anthony Richardson's 4th game that he's finished from beginning to end. He played 6 games total in his NFL career so far. You're looking at it being a very big chemistry issue. And once these targets start connecting more, Michael Pittman Jr., he's already got the volume. We just need the catches to align for us right then and there. And Michael Pittman Jr. can really slide back up into that top 24 wide receiver role that we all know that he can be. That's going to do it for some buy low trade targets. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions on some trade targets you should get, any lineup questions that I can go over in my future Stardom Stidham episode that's going to be coming out for you tomorrow. And don't forget to tune into that new episode on Sunday, the live episode that we do 9:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be it for us today, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to keep your chin up and your attitude all the way down. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.
Thank you.